want to tell you the story of how 9 years ago to this week, I think, I bought a one-way ticket to leave South Africa, where I was born. I was 33 at the time, and I decided to move to Thailand, to Southeast Asia. And how that whole thing came about was I was reading Tim Ferriss's 4 Hour Work Week, and he spoke about Thailand, and he spoke about how he was living this remote lifestyle, and he had this business, and he was learning, what was it, taekwondo or something, jiu-jitsu or something or the other in Japan, and just living kind of a dream life. And he spoke about how you don't need to have a lot of money to be able to do these things. And so I was intrigued and I was curious, and so I went online and I looked up kind of cost of living of places in Thailand, because he mentioned Thailand, as I said. And that was kind of end of December, middle of December of 2020, 2012, 2013. I want to 2013. Yeah, end of 2013. And after reading it, and I did the research, and I was like, oh, okay, it's going to cost X amount of money to live in Thailand. There's a website called nomadlist.io that I referenced, and I was looking at flights, and I didn't have the money to buy a ticket. I had a bit of an income. I was working on Upwork at the time. I had just started on Upwork actually like 2 or 3 months before that, and I was making about $1,000 a month, working about 60, 70 hours a week. And it was tough. It was tough at that time because I was married and we were living with her parents in their home, and we were struggling because I didn't have enough money to do stuff, to pay for stuff, to pay for food, to pay for gas, to go to drop her off at work. And it was a real tough time. But I made the decision when I figured out that I could probably live in Thailand for about $1,000 a month, even if I budgeted really, and I found a hostel to live in, and I, just ate less and didn't do extravagant things. I wouldn't need a car. I figured out wouldn't need a car. I wouldn't need an expensive phone, or I wouldn't need like a expensive place to live in. And I was just like, I said to my ex-wife, like, I think I want to travel. I think I want to like go see the world. I think I want to go like live in Asia. And she was like, okay, cool. Like, go do that. I'll wait for you when you get back. And I said, I don't think we should, I don't think I'm going to leave. I think I want you to go along. I think I want you to go with me. And if you don't go with me, then I think we should split up. I think we should go our separate ways, and I think you should find somebody who makes you happy. We were going through some struggles with the marriage too, partly because of the money situation, but also I think in terms of our personalities, I just wanted more from life, and I don't know that we were aligned in that way. From my point of view, the marriage was good, but in terms of building a future together, I had gotten to a point where I didn't want to have any more children. She wanted to have kids. And it was one of those things where I made the decision to not have any children later. Like, we got married, and then I kind of woke up one morning and realized that I actually didn't want to have more kids, because I have 2 kids from my first ex-wife. And yeah, I didn't want to go through that whole situation again. And so yeah, I decided to move. I decided to get divorced. And within 90 days, despite the fact that I didn't have any money, I found a way to buy the plane ticket and fly one way to Bali. Went to Bali for 6 weeks. Was basically living like week to week. Like, Upwork pays you weekly on a 2-week cycle. So you work your week, you work your hours this week. It goes into escrow from the client by Tuesday or Wednesdays when they pay the invoice, and then the following week, Wednesday, they would pay out, but then the payout would take maybe a couple of days to arrive in the bank account. So it was like a 2 week cycle. But I was working every week, and so I was getting paid weekly, and I was living literally paycheck to paycheck. Like I was paying the hotel in Bali every week, and then whatever cash I had left over, I was buying food with. So it wasn't to say that I was living in Bali, living large. I was still living on like $7, $8 a night at a hostel in the beginning, and then I moved to a slightly better place in Bali during that 6 weeks. I think like the third or fourth week, I found a different place to stay in. But yeah, Bali was great, and I was working at a co-working space. It was the first co-working space that I ever worked in. Very nice place called Ubud. In Ubud, called Hubud. I still remember. Very nice. They had the whole place was made with bamboo. It was kind of fascinating. Lots of wooden tables. Internet was fast. And yeah, and then I knew that I was coming to Bangkok because I had bought the ticket already. I came to Bangkok. They allowed me in, and again, I was just living in hostels. I was paying like 200 baht a night, which is something like 15, yeah, about $6 a night at today's current exchange rate. And yeah, I had a budget for food and stuff. I was like maximum of 500 baht, which was something like $15 or something like that a day was my budget. And I basically just worked at the hostel. Like the internet was free, part of the room, obviously. Or no, it wasn't a room. I was sharing a room with like 7 other people in that hostel. And I just basically saved money. I didn't go out much. I wasn't drinking much at that time either because there was just not enough money for that. Bangkok's known for its bars, and it's kind of like red light districts and known for all of these things, but I didn't go. I didn't. People at the hostel were like, hey, like you're here to enjoy yourself, like you need to go out, like come for a drink with us. And I didn't. I just said no. I made friends, but they were kind of very confused. Like, this guy's arrived here, he's living in a hostel, he's staying in a hostel, but he's working at the hostel on his laptop all day long, and then he's still not going out at night. It was very, well, I mean, for me, it was just what I had to do. But I think other people maybe thought that I was weird or strange. But I did make a few friends, actually, during that time. It helped me open up, like going to Bali and meeting strangers, not being in the country, coming to Bangkok and living in that hostel, exposed me to people, which I wasn't kind of used to in South Africa. Obviously, with meeting people, but not as frequently. Like at a hostel, a high frequency hostel, there's new people every day at the hostel. Every breakfast, there's new people, there's new faces, new people arrive, new people, like people leave every single day. So high volume places like that is really good exposure to meet people, and also to get used to the fact that you are meeting people. Like it actually helps you open up. It actually helps you learn to tell a story. Like usually when people meet you for the first time, especially when you're traveling, is what's your name, where you from, why are you here, or some version of why are you here. Like, what are you doing, what do you do for work, or oh, you're just traveling. Like, they just want to know what your journey is. They want to know what your story is. And I think people found pity. I think they felt pity for me, or maybe feeling sorry for me. But they were also on this adventure, and so it was like, oh, this is an adventure. Like, obviously, and living in hostels, there's a lot of young people, right? Teenagers, early 20s. I met one 50-year-old guy from Spain, Barcelona, who was like, no, man, you're in Bangkok, you need to go for a massage. Like, you need to go, like, go relax a little bit. And he forced me. He took my hand and he was like, come, we're going for a massage together. And he got a happy ending. I didn't get a happy ending. I didn't want a happy ending. One, because I couldn't afford it, and two, because it just felt gross at the time. I was like, what? This was new to me. I had no idea that these things happened. I wasn't familiar with sort of the massage parlors here in Bangkok. It was kind of funny. And at the end of his massage, he came out and he was like, did you get a happy ending?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Why not?" He's like, "What do you mean a happy ending?" And then he explained it to me, and I was like, "Oh, interesting." Um, I don't do that. Just interesting. Just in case you're wondering. Um, but yeah, Bangkok. Living in Bangkok has been one of the best decisions of my life. I've been here 9 years, as I said at the start of this video, and it's changed my life. It's changed my life in a way that it's given me the stability that I wanted. It's given me the freedom that I wanted in terms of being able to walk around and meet people and be safe. South Africa isn't safe. You can't really walk around. You can only walk around in the malls and the security guards, and you have to drive everywhere, and it's expensive. Bangkok is a lot cheaper. Thailand in general is a lot cheaper. Even flights, electricity, water, internet, like all of these things are just more convenient. The infrastructure is really great here. And it looks like I'm potentially moving to the next place. Or maybe by the end of the year, or maybe next year, I'm not sure exactly. But there's potentially a move to go to the US. And so, long story short, I think it's one of those situations where, or I find myself in one of those situations where I'm extremely grateful that I made the decision, that I read Tim Ferriss's book, that I actually bought the ticket, that I found a way to buy the ticket, that I paid that person back, the person who loaned me the money to buy the ticket. I paid her back, and I was able to save money. I was able to not get into trouble. I figured out how to get a visa. I figured out how to buy technology so that I can improve my life. I figured out how to get out of that hostel and into better places to live. I'm now living in a 3-story townhouse a little bit out of the city, and it's fantastic. I have an office, I have a bedroom on the second floor, I have a balcony on the 4th floor. It's amazing. I enjoy living here. It's peaceful, it's quiet, it's not chaotic like the center of the city is. And I want to leave you with this message that even though you may think that moving across the world to a country that you've never been to, or maybe you've been here but you've thought of wanting to live here, it's possible to do, even if you're just making $1,000 a month. In terms of money, I think it's pretty easy to make $1,000 a month these days, but you can do it. It is possible. You may think it's difficult, but it's possible. And if you find a way, if you figure it out, if you find how to, make a profile on Upwork, you figure out how to do freelancing, you figure out how to maybe sell a course or sell a product, or maybe you have some investments or something going on, you just save. Just do the things that you need to do to figure it out. Do the research, and then make a decision. Because these are the decisions that actually change you. These are the decisions that alter who you are, that shape your character. They change you in a way. You grow up. You become better. Sure, I'm not saying my life has been perfect all 9 years here in Bangkok. I've had relationships, broken up with people, currently single. But that's besides the point. The person I am today, 9 years after moving from South Africa, I'm a totally different person. And I'm really happy about that. I'm actually a little bit emotional about it too. And yeah, you can do it too. You can. I mean, I'm from South Africa. I didn't think that I was going to amount to too much. I knew that I had potential. I knew people told me that I was smart. People told me that I looked good. People told me various things growing up. But I didn't quite believe them. And I want you to believe in yourself. Because if I could do what I did and survive, not even about achieving, not even about having things, not even about money, it's just the fact that you can do it is important. And if it's something you think you should do, just figure out a way and do it. If you end up struggling, or if you end up not being able to figure it out, it's fine. You can always go back to the thing you were doing, or fly back home and start again. It's not that difficult.